know if I would say I'm a thrill seeker. I'm always down to do some thrills. I don't think I'm seeking it. I'm not actively getting up in the morning, cup of coffee, let's go find some to jump off of. Makes sense? I like challenges, that's for sure. I'd definitely be more of a challenge seeker. I love problems to overcome. Hi, I'm Jeremy Renner, and this is the timeline of my career. For me, it's sort of like dumb luck. It was in college, and took an acting class as an elective, and that's when everything kind of shifted for me. But once I started acting in LA, I was like 23 or 24. On the side, was as a makeup artist. I was a makeup artist while I was in LA for a good 8 years, and that was my job on the weekends to kind of keep me afloat so I can go audition.
Lisa. Lisa.
What? You want to cut and go to a party? Come on. I know you like me.
Would you leave me alone?
Actually booking it was like, winning the lottery type of feeling. I remember jumping up and down, and I called my mom and I said, I'm going to Toronto. I got this movie night. I'm like, I didn't know where the hell fucking Toronto was. But I'm like, I was so excited. I remember kissing the dirty old carpet at the crappy apartment I was living in. It was a big, big milestone for me to know that, like, hey, I can actually work in this city.
I buy you these shoes. You just gotta take a couple pictures.
Well, what kind of pictures?
Just a couple pictures of you, making a muscle, sitting in a chair, looking tough.
That movie has a lot of value to me in my life. This is probably around 2000, so some good 7 years have been gone by since senior trip. I think there was an actor's strike, I believe, around that time. So I remember there being a lot of struggles because I was doing a lot of commercials at the time to help keep working as an actor and help pay the bills. But I remember being very, very poor in the sense of that no electricity, no running water, and that kind of stuff happening. My manager at the time said, hey, there's this thing with Dahmer. I'm like, that sounds interesting. So I went and read this monologue for the director, got cast that day, and then 3 days later we started shooting, and then 14 days after that moment we were done shooting. So it happened very, very, very quickly. It was a whirlwind of an experience, and the movie did well for me in the sense of a lot of people within the industry saw it and noticed it, and how people perceived me shifted in a positive way, as far as like creative opportunities for me in the future. Catherine Bigelow saw Dahmer, and this is the guy to play Will James for The Hurt Locker.
That wasn't so bad. First time working together, what do you think?
I think us working together means I talk to you and you talk to me.
Are you going on a date, Sanborn?
No, we're going on a mission.
Catherine was in LA, so I flew from London for a dinner to meet her in person. And she shows me a lookbook, which is just images and talk more about the character. It was more just sort of like agreeing like, yeah, we're gonna go do this. After getting the role, it was probably a good year and a half before we started actually filming. So I'd read other actors. I would go to Fort Irwin and train with EOD, which is part of just understanding the role. And then we started a production and went to the Middle East and started filming. As a kid from Modesto, California, it's strange going over to the Middle East. Everything was just different. It's 130 degrees. You got a 100-pound bomb suit on, but like heat, it doesn't become heat anymore. Like pain is more of a spiritual pain than it is like a physical sort of pain. The location was a huge character in that film in particular, where it only informs you of truths. If we were supposed to be freezing, it would have been awful, because it's 130 degrees. But everything that we were doing, everywhere we were, made it easier, realistic to us. The shooting experience was one thing, but then as it all came together, it took about 2 years before it to actually be released. So we were going around to every military base and showing the film and talking about it. And that's not even something on my filmography. This is more of a life experience that I was blessed to be a part of. It became a wonderful tool to communicate between civilian life and soldier life. And then the kind of the payoff with Catherine becoming the first woman director to win an Oscar. I survived all the way through until one day we wrapped, and then the boys, we all went over to Beirut and had fun. And then my buddy got drunk and he ordered a sandwich to the room, and I ate the sandwich for him because he passed out and had lettuce on it. And I was done. Lost 30 pounds in 4 days. Got hella lifted, back to Jordan. I'm like, I'm wrapped. I'm on my own free time. And I'm sicker than I've ever been sick in my life. Yeah, those memories.
There's too many locks. There's too many. I can't do it. I can't get it off. I'm sorry, okay? You understand? I'm sorry. You hear me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get down now!
Did you say your name was Jim or Jen?
Well, it's both, actually. Teachers, when we're growing up, you know, they used to always say, hey, you can have this one. He's a real gem. So I guess it kind of stuck.
Yeah, that was just as foreign to me as being in the Middle East. You know, I didn't know really much about Boston. Ben said, like, we're not gonna do any dialect coaches. So he just put me with a bunch of people in a bar. Ex-cons, just gotta have a 20-year bit. These are all dudes that were in prison. All guys that did bank robberies and armored car heists and that kind of stuff. It couldn't be funnier and cooler and the whole thing, but I just hung out with them for like two weeks. Ben is a wonderful, super smart guy. It was a great journey to work with him, and Boston is a really cool, beautiful community. I really enjoyed shooting there.
About 6 foot, 180 pounds. Blue eyes. Who is he?
Crude drawing, but by your description, that could be Kurt Hendricks. 190 IQ. Served in Swedish Special Forces. Professor of physics.
I was meeting with J.J. Abrams about the movie Super 8, I believe. And I go sit in this room and he says, hey, I want to hear all your thoughts, but what do you think about Mission Impossible? I'm like, yeah, they're great movies. I love them. So anyway, Super 8, no, hold on. Would you like to go meet Tom? Because they're having a whole kind of show and tell right now over at Paramount. I'm like, okay. Like right now? He's like, yeah, let me call. So I'm driving across from Santa Monica and all the way back into Hollywood. And I go sit in this room and talking to Tom Cruise and all the people kind of involved in that and the director. And we start talking and they say, hey, we really want you in this movie. I'm like, okay, it's great. And they're saying this and talking about this. And I'm like, well, all this sounds really amazing, you guys, but like, why me? And they're like, well, because we look at you and you could be a good guy or a bad guy. People might be on the fence. You're like a coiled spring. I'm like, great, I understand that. I get why you say that. I didn't say yes or no. I just gave them all a hug and I went home. And I got a phone call from Tom. First of all, how did Tom Cruise have my home line? I'm like, great. Hello, hey, Tom. Hey, what's up, man? And so you want to do it or not? I'm like, yeah, of course, I'll do it. I'll do it, yeah, sure. I hung up. So that's how I got the role. And I didn't know what the script was or the character was. And I'm like, how could I say no? It was just a strange, odd thing. I went in for one movie with JJ and then come home for now ultimately a trilogy with Mission Impossibles. Tom taught me a lot about an actor in the stunt world and treating it like that's a big part of the job and how to prepare your body enough to go through the punishment, which got my brain thinking about stunts in a different way, which really started a trajectory for me in the stunt world. And I loved it because I've always been athletic, always been an athlete, and now I got to sort of use those skills in the acting world. That's why the action movies are just as fun to me as like some character-driven movie, because there's lots of challenges and things to overcome in those types of films. And the stunts, you know, geez, Tom is just an absolute genius maniac. This guy's insane. But it's also, it inspired me to be the best I could be.
Stark, get a lot of spray sniffing your tail.
Just trying to keep him off the streets.
Well, they can't bank with a dam. Find a tight corner.
I remember going in to talk with Kevin Feige and Lou D'Esposito, and they showed me like the Ultimates version of Hawkeye. Iron Man had come out, and I said, look, man, I'm in what you guys are doing, because I loved Iron Man. I liked how you made Iron Man plausible. That was so like, I love that. So that's where they wanted to go with it. I'm like, great. You got to kind of sign on for like, a bunch of Avenger films and potential Hawkeye films. They kind of sign your life away. I'm like, wait, man, I might be 50 in tights? That was like my main concern. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't think anybody wants to see me in tights at 50. I mean, the greatest thing from all that experience over a decade with Marvel and the MCU is lifelong friendships and bonds I have with the original six. We all got tattoos. It's a six sign, but it has all the original symbols for the original six Avengers in it. The greatest thing about it is that we all shared that Willy Wonka experience, right? This closest sort of feeling, oh, you're a kid and you got the ticket and you go to this Candyland world, like, oh my goodness. And then the personal side of that, that's just the work side. There's marriages and divorce and kids. All that happened during that decade. It was really, really interesting to be able to share that.
How many arrows did you bring?
All of them, like 11.
11?
11? There are 100,000 aliens out there. And I killed 11 of them. You're welcome.
I'm out. Bitches. Anybody want some at Taco Bell? No, he's got hundreds and hundreds of arrows. Like, let's not take ourselves that fucking serious. Thor, you have a cappuccino in your hand, dude, right? There's a hammer and a cappuccino. We're all dressed in like Halloween costumes, for God's sakes. We'd make fun of the thing. And Marvel also has that idea, right? When it's appropriate. So, and I think that's why it works, To me, it's all the same. My job is to output truth and behavior and understand the scope of where that behavior lies in the story. But it's all the same, whether you're talking to a tennis ball, right? Food might be a little bit better. The craft services, probably a little bit better on a Marvel movie. That's the only difference, though. That's the only difference.
If it's all the same to you, I'll have that drink now.
Hey, look, that one's you.
No, it's Katniss Everdeen. Let's go.
Your problem is branding.
No, my problem is you. And this ninja suit, and the people trying to kill you because of this ninja suit. The whole thing's a problem I'm going to solve today.
I was really excited about the idea of, on Disney Plus, doing a long-form storytelling version of it. I think it's a more accessible way to learn about a character, even for myself, because he was part of a giant sort of universe. How do you get into the real backstory and the understanding the character a bit more? Long-form storytelling, in a series is a better accessible way, I think. It's great. So we could do a 6-hour movie instead of like a 2-hour movie, partnering up with the female Hawkeye, and there's a lot of opportunities to expand the storytelling.
Is Hawkeye a Christmas series?
It's definitely like a holiday event series, for sure. For sure. There's a reason why it's being released on November 24th, and then it'll end on Christmas. I mean, it plays holiday music on the teaser and the trailer, right? I think you answered your own question. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. You can answer your own questions.
Can you get it?
Nope. That's going to be a problem for you.
So it's shot like a 10-hour film, and it's based in a small town that's prisons. People are either in the prison or waiting for the people to come out of the prison, work for the prison. The character I play is the lead title character, and he's a good guy. He is the oil or the fluid or the grease of this entire engine of the business of incarceration. He can just keep it running smooth to try to at least attempt to keep peace between the prisoners and the guards, just everyone in and out of the prison. There's a lot of moments I think back on, like all these pinch me moments, like I can't believe this is happening. What am I driving, a Ferrari to an F1 race? And then I see Prince in concert with like 400 people hanging off the Burj Khalifa with Tom Cruise holding his foot. I mean, all these weird things, like what? It's strange, you can't predict those type of things in life. You just roll with it and be like, oh, that was a day. Ever since I've gotten my best role to date, which is being a father, that's my best role. So everything is sort of like second banana at that point. There's a lot of things that be interesting to do, that I love to go explore, but I'm always, my primary focus is my best role to date is being a dad, and that's what it'll always be.